What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at the St. Vitus Basement, and today we are here with Phil of Sacred Reich. Thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's so awesome to have you guys here. I know a lot of great things is happening. First thing is always first. Awakening is your newest record,
Yes.
which is scheduled to come out very soon. Do you just want to give a run on how the making of this record has been?
It was awesome. We had a great experience. We worked, the producer's name is Arthur Rizek, who had done, he did like Power Trip, Code Orange, and did Cavalera. And speaking to him, we really want to work with him because when you listen to the different things he had done, they all had their own particular sound. He didn't have like a thing that he does, so that was important to us. And when we talked to him about what we were shooting for him, he goes, "What are you looking for?" I go, like a Mob Rules kind of heaven and hell thing. And he goes, "Martin Birch is one of my favorite producers." Like, "I'll kill it." And he's an awesome guy. And we recorded the place called the Platinum Underground in Mesa, and John Aquilino runs the place and engineered, and he's just an incredible guy with a wonderful facility and has a great ear and a lot of great technical knowledge. And so working with those two really helped out a great deal. Arthur had some wonderful ideas and contributed a lot to the sound and even arrangements and stuff, which we laugh because we said 23 years ago when we made our last record, no fucking way we would have listened to anybody.
Right.
We're more open now. And the other joke was last time we made a record, there were no cell phones.
Oh, wow.
And so it's been a while. Technology's changed quite a bit.
23 years ago?
Yeah.
Last time you made a record, I was 2.
Yeah, and we just record to tape. There was no Pro Tools or maybe there was, but we didn't use it, So it was interesting. Like, we didn't rely on a lot of that stuff. And Dave's approach to his drums was no sound replacement, no triggers, just all natural drums. And that we just wanted a natural sounding record. Yeah. And the process itself was really incredible and just felt really positive, and it was a really incredible experience.
That's awesome. And you mentioned, because, this is the first record to feature Joey on guitars and, Dave's return. And, Dave was playing with Machine Head for a period of time and all that. So when working with this album, did Dave kind of have, like, new tricks in the books? And did Joey also bring something new to Sacred Reich as well?
Well, as far as Dave goes, he's obviously the last 23 years being a Machine Head, he has so many more experiences than we've had. So what I think he really brought an openness and a willingness to try things, right? So we had an idea we wanted a drum sound, but when it come to recording the songs, like we would record and then he would go back and do some other passes, trying some different things and search for the thing that was the best. He was very open, which was an incredible thing to see, he and Arthur would talk, and anyone had a suggestion, he would try stuff. He was wide open to it, which was amazing. And Joey recorded the demos, helped us make the demos for the record, so he was already familiar with the songs. And when things didn't work out with Jason, Joey just stepped right in, and he just destroyed things in the studio. He's just an amazing talent, and he's very nonplussed about the whole thing. Like, yeah, cool. Just has an incredible attitude. And John, who was engineering the record, was saying, I do this every day, and the studio can be very intimidating. And he goes, here's this 22-year-old kid that just walks in and just kills it like a 25-year veteran.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it was so obvious, like on the second day, we're like, man, he is the guitar player in Sacred Reich. He's not just the guy who's playing the guitar tracks. He's the guy. Definitely.
Now, being that this is the first record in 23 years, like you said, what I'm curious is, are you trying to maintain the sound that we discovered on the earlier Sacred Reich records, or did you kind of want to maybe do something completely out of the box in terms of the sound?
Well, when we play, it's just going to sound like us. I guess it kind of sounds simple and silly in a way, but when we get together and play, it's just going to sound like Sacred Reich. It doesn't have any choice, right? That's who we are. That's what we do. There was a little bit of, yeah, I think we definitely need some fast and heavy songs to honor the people that got us here, right? The fans that have been with us since ignorance, and it would be almost a slap in the face if we didn't have something kind of fast and heavy for them. But we also wanted everything to be just natural, to come out naturally without being forced. So luckily, when the songs were coming, there were a bunch of heavy, fast songs. So like, yes, because it just had to be natural. The whole process had to make sense, and it just kind of did. Every band says their new record's their best record, right? But I mean, honestly, it's to me, it's like not even close. It's easily the best thing we've ever done. It's the most focused, the best sounding. It's really, we're really happy. We're so happy with the way that it came out and the process of making it. And we've talked about this. Like, obviously, we want everyone to like it and enjoy it. But if everyone thought it was a piece of crap, it wouldn't matter to us, because the process of making it was so enjoyable and fulfilling and meant so much to us. And how we feel about the record is so special that it doesn't even matter if anybody likes it. That's how that's how strongly we feel about it.
And I know that if you can't feel strong about your own music, don't even bother even thinking about other people liking it.
I mean, we're certainly our own worst critics. We're going to be way more harsh to our own stuff than anybody else. And it's not through ego or patting ourselves on the back that we feel that way. Just having been through all the steps in the process, it was just such an amazing experience. Like, we know what we did. We know how it happened. And even Arthur and John were like, man, we do sessions all the time. This was really unusual that everything was so smooth and so positive and so good. Like, it was really important for us. You cannot separate the outcome from the process of making it.
Well, that's an interesting way.
Yeah, the end result is a matter of the process of how you do it, right? Yeah. So if you do things for the right motivation, in the right way, for the right reasons, and be open and positive and nurturing and caring and all that kind of stuff, you turn out with something that you can be proud of.
Now, in the making of a Sacred Reich song, because I think that the lyrical subject matters are always very important in this song too, does a lyrical subject matter ever determine like the outcome of the whole composition, or are lyrics always kind of like the put on last?
Sometimes the lyrics come first and influence the music, and sometimes the music's first and the lyrics come later. There's no one way.
Okay. I've always thought that having lyrics first has got to be difficult, because nothing could be more heartbreaking than having like the perfect set of lyrics and then seeing that they go like one syllable over the arrangement.
Well, no, early on, like all like the ignorant stuff, I had the lyrics first, and then I would hear the music in my head and do the music to the words. And since I was singing and playing, I would make it to where it would have to fit. And I would hear it's like iambic pentameter, there's just certain things. But, it used to always be the lyrics were first, then the music came later, and then I was like, we should change that, And it's just to learn how to do things in all kinds of ways.
Now, when you're playing live, do you try to execute the material exactly how it sounds on the album live, or do you like to maybe bring something to the live experience that nobody could really experience elsewhere if they were to just simply listen to you guys?
We're pretty boring and pretty much play things straight ahead for the most part. Like, we're not a jam band, or like there might be little accents and little things as we play the songs that we go, oh, that would have been cool to do on the record. And there's a couple of older songs that we've edited. That we're like, that part's too long. Let's do that less.
Oh god, it sometimes gets annoying when like you hear a guitar solo that's like 45 minutes long.
No, Wiley likes to nail his guitar solos note for note. He's like, I worked really hard on those solos. I'm gonna play them the right way.
Yeah. It's sometimes like improvising. It almost seems like, I think improvising is awesome, but it sometimes could just be like a cop out too, right?
Well, I don't know. Everybody's got to do whatever strikes them. Yeah, Led Zeppelin improvise are pretty badass, But for the kind of music that we play and what we're doing, it's like a nip and tuck here, a little jig, a little break here. That's about it. It's enough.
Yeah. And going back to like the studio versus the live presence as well, for you when you're playing and doing your music in the studio or a practice space or something versus playing on a stage in a venue, is that a different experience as well, or is there just a usual like certain state of mind that you're in when you're playing, regardless of where you are?
Well, I mean, you always just try to be focused on the music and listen, for me, singing, to listen to what I'm saying, to be in the moment, to be listening to everybody else, to be vibing off the crowd, all that. And when you're making a record, I mean, your deal is really just it's kind of the same, but you don't have a crowd. You're listening and you're thinking about what you're doing, and you're also trying to not think too much and just let things be natural. I think that's the key, is just to let things be as they are and not get in its way too much, not to force and push too hard.
And the final question I'd like to ask you is because I know that Sacred Reich originally started in Phoenix, Arizona, right? And I mean, I've heard some pretty good stories about now with how the Phoenix, Arizona metal scene is now. But back in when Sacred Reich started, was there like a scene that you cut your teeth in, or just being kind of close enough to California, you guys had to like go there to sort of get the name out there, or go outside Phoenix?
There was a scene like Flotsam. We were always like our big brother bands, Flotsam and Jetsam.
Awesome.
And when Newstead was in the band too, like he was a big early supporter of Sacred Reich and wrote our bio and gave us his mailing list so we can send out our demo tapes, and always told Metal Blade, Sacred Reich, Sacred Reich, Sacred Reich. Like he was a big inspiration for us and a big help early on. And yeah, there were tons of bands were coming through. We used to play at a club called The Bootlegger, which Gloria, who's now married to Max.
Oh.
Yeah, we've known Gloria since '85. She was our first manager.
Oh, really?
And yeah, so she used to own this club, The Bootlegger, we used to play at. And then she started promoting shows. So all the shows that she would do, all the metal bands that would come through, she would put us on. And then when we got a record deal, we asked her to manage us. So she was our manager.
Oh, really? I thought the only bands Gloria ever managed was any band that Max was in. That's
Well, she started with us, and then she got Sepultura.
Yep. And then Soulfly and stuff.
Right after Sepultura split. But we spent a lot of time with the Sepultura guys early on. Yeah.
That's had to have been incredible.
It was great. We toured. We did like I think one of their first shows in New York was at the Ritz, and it was King Diamond, us, and Sepultura at the Ritz on Halloween night. And then we were in Europe, and they came with us to France. We like smuggled them over the border into France, and they came and we jammed at the Gibus in Paris, and then we toured with them on a rise. We did U.S., Europe, Australia, New Zealand.
That's incredible.
It was really a lot of fun. Those guys were fucking, just to get to watch them every night. And that tour was Sepultura, us, Napalm Death, and Sick of It All.
Wow, that's a lineup.
Yeah,
right
it
there.
was ridiculous.
Talk about diversity.
It was ridiculous.
So before we go, I'd like to thank you so much for your time. It's going to be an awesome show tonight. You know, I sadly missed you on the last time you came here with Byzantine.
Yeah,
so
it'll be great tonight. It'll be a great show.
yeah, just this is going to be uploaded probably before you hit the stage tonight. So is there just anything else with Sacred Reich you would like to promote in terms of this new album cycle, in terms of tours or stuff, if you're allowed to say?
I think the record will be out hopefully August 23rd, hopefully.
Okay.
And I just hope everybody likes it.
And obviously we'll be seeing you on the road quite often to support it as well.
I hope so.
All right. I like a little mystery. Well, thank you so much.
you.
Everybody, Sacred Reich Awakening coming out soon. We'll see you next time on Heavy New York.